Okay. All right.
Yeah, I missed the last session, and it's a very interesting session. I would like even to repeat, maybe 10 minutes about.
You want to repeat?
Can you? So I know.
Repeat.
Did you receive
I don't
the
have
slide?
my stuff.
Yeah, I did. Thank you very much.
Next
Yeah, I
time,
received it.
I'll tell you some other time.
Yeah.
Okay, sure. Okay, when you finish these sessions.
Yeah. Okay, so this week. Oh, Grant, you can sit here. You can see better.
Yeah. Otherwise your neck would.
Yeah. Okay. So, we've been talking about natural. For Ernest, I will explain what we are doing. We're talking about natural farming, natural gardening, basically going with the nature rather than artificial things. So I'm not as qualified thing. I maybe just took some courses and learn from some people and I have a different perspective, but I don't know everything. So I encourage your inputs. So today we're going to talk about compost tea, or basically natural fertilizer. So when you look at a forest, maybe it's some kind of interaction. I like to see what you think. It's like, okay, let me see if it's recording. Yeah, it's recording. Yeah, so what do you think the fertilizer, who fertilized the forest? Yes? A God? God?
I mean, it's whatever that.
Jesus is the answer.
Yeah, this is the answer to everything.
Yeah, what do you think? Just brainstorm. What do you think the fertilizer or how the plants in the forest get nutrients? Especially the BC forest. If you look in the BC forest, it's almost no life. If you compare that to Hong Kong or Asia, there's so many monkeys or birds, snakes. But in here, the forest is very quiet. Maybe some birds, maybe once in a while you can hear a deer or no. I've never seen a wolf. I've never seen a bear. Right? Where do they get the nutrients?
Microbes in the ecological cycle.
What goes cycle though? That you got in something, yeah. What? Please explain.
The microbes that's inside.
Microbes,
the
yes.
The earthworms, the bugs, the
nematodes,
nematodes, and whatever it is that's.
Okay, maybe I can help you a little bit. So what do all these bugs and microbes live on? What do they eat?
They eat from the waste from the plant, right?
Yes.
Yeah, the
yes.
leaves and the compost.
That's right.
Yeah.
If you can imagine, there's a forest fire, nothing left.
Yeah.
Well, there's no tree, but it starts with little grass. Maybe sometime later there's shrubs.
Yes.
Later on there's some other taller trees, and then get a forest. So what you have is something that gradually build up over time. The forest is almost like a perfect machine. They have flowers, they have leaves, they have seeds, they have fruits. They all kind of regenerate each other, and then they fall down to the ground. You get these insects, fungus, other plants, that go underneath the soil. So they sort of build up, right? And I was fascinated by BC forest. There is actually, I think we are blessed with a special setup.
Oh.
Right, every year the salmon returns
Correct.
from the sea. There's so many, it used to be so many salmon.
Yes.
And what does salmon do? They swim upstream, right? And then when you get there, the bears, the fox, the wolf, eagles, right? They eat them, and then the carcass, was brought inside the forest. It's not just by the river. That's amazing, right? And the more interesting fact is also that if you go to Alaska or you watch the bears, they don't eat the whole fish. They don't. They are very wasteful. They basically it is. They most of the time they will catch a fish, and then they will eat the biggest fish. They don't eat the smaller fish.
Oh.
So sometimes you eat they would pick up a male, they don't like it, they threw it back or they threw it on the side,
Wow.
and they die, right? And then they eat the female, all the roe and
Wow.
the brain, and then obviously they take fish away from the water and eat it there, and it's just left to rot, and that's the fertilizer, right? Isn't that amazing?
Yes.
Right? And then they pee, they poop inside the forest, right?
Yes.
So I think even though we
That's
don't have a
natural.
lot of wildlife here,
Sufficient.
there is a
Enough
addition
cycle.
of nutrients. Like it makes the BC rainforest very interesting. I don't know if you go north, like what do you see?
Not many trees are up north.
Yeah, you tundra, right? It's almost like what they call like moss or
Yeah,
something.
yeah.
But you know they got nutrients from a polar bear coming in, or you know whatever, a whale washing up the shore, you know, things like that. The eagle dropping their poop, it's got nutrients, you know.
They got a lot of migratory birds there.
Exactly, and then the caribou they runs along, you know, it's amazing how they spread the nutrients, eh? What else? Okay, there's a tough word, riparian forest. It means just the edge of the water, like the shore, the riverside, you know, things like that.
The
So
edge of the
that's more nutrients there. But the importance of riparian forest is also filter out the rain.
Yes.
When it rains, the nutrients get washed out to the sea, but the forest will catch a lot of it. So it won't pollute the water, like you don't get these green algae, things like that. Like where does the green algae or the red tide came from? They came from commercial fertilizer, you know, right? People fertilize their farm and then it got washed out because they have no riparian forest. The fertilizer went down the river or went down the sea.
Like
Okay?
you told us last week, we are the problem.
Yeah. So, what I wanted to say, propose today is that we have enough nutrients. We can get natural nutrients following nature, okay, from plants, okay. So Richard was saying, okay, the leaves, the flower, the seed. Well, that's what we are having. Like you can make number one fertilizer. You can make maybe, you know, Ernest, you have some experience making compost tea?
No.
No? What do
I
you use
just
for?
did that today for her.
You pardon me?
I did that for her.
How do
today.
you do it?
All the vegetable
Yeah.
cut off, you know,
Yeah.
and put it in the blender, put water, blend it,
Yeah.
mix it, dilute
Yeah.
it, and then pour it onto the plant.
Is that
Excellent.
good? Is that good? What way?
It's a good step. I would go one step further, which I'll explain later. One step further. You need time.
Fermented.
Yeah, you need time.
Oh, ferment it.
Ferment it. Yeah, that's just time. Okay.
I add rice water that's
Oh,
been
there's
fermented.
our
More people coming in?
yeah, Billy and George.
Oh.
Yeah.
How
So
do you ferment it?
I'll show you. Okay. So basically, you have cutting. Let's start what you did. What you did is just all the vegetables. The reason you use vegetables, I would propose. Hi, Billy. No worries. Have a seat. Oh, just you?
Hey, hello.
Tonight we have a Bible study and
Okay.
so
Okay.
busy.
Oh, so somebody dropped you off?
Yeah, my daughter.
Oh, thank you for her. Okay, now I want to propose to you, if you want to grow broccoli, you would cut up the leaves of broccolis for fertilizing broccoli.
Oh. The same
Okay.
ones.
Same one, because that's what they need, right?
Ah, I
Yeah.
see.
Right? I propose that you can say
Yes.
differently. Of course, you can use different things like banana peels, whatever. But the most direct way is you have broccoli, you use broccoli. You have cucumber, use cucumber. Chop them up, fertilize it, because that's what they have already. It's built into their body, and that's what they need and they use, right? And then the other one is comfrey. Comfrey is we have some plants here that I can show you later. The biggest reason you use comfrey is because they have very deep tap roots. So I think I mentioned before, the nutrient comes from the earth. Okay, so the minerals come from the earth. So when you have a deep taproot plant, they draw it up, put it on their leaves, and then you cut their leaves and just leave it as fertilizer. That will enrich your soil. The soil on the top is already been used up. You need something deeper, right? And by going down, it also break up the soil, loosen it up, collect more water.
So it's the roots, right? Instead of the leaves. You mean?
The roots and the leaves,
And the
both
leaves,
you can
both,
use.
okay.
But the leaves is better because if you take out the root, the plant will die.
Yeah, that's right.
So the country plant is almost like a vegetable. I'll show you later. You just cut the leaves and lay it down as mulch, and it will dissolve,
For the-
eaten by
for the
bacteria,
leaves, okay.
and then they will fertilize your thing. And then you have seaweed. You have manure tea, like you just take out chicken manure, put it in water, ferment it for maybe a month or 2 months, and then it will be ready. Okay, and then fish, the same thing. You can buy, well, when you eating fish, the guts, the head, you put it in the ground, or put in a pot of water to ferment it. But that's too smelly, right? So I would recommend you buy the.
Yeah.
I'll explain a little bit more. So this is comfrey. That we have it here. It's actually a locally available plant. It's a wild plant. Yes, it is. Yes, I didn't have. Yeah, it's like growing clumps, and then that's the deep taproot, and you can recognize it by the pink, purplish flower. The bees love this plant very much. So if you grow this in your garden, it will help the pollinator. And then the leaves itself, I have another class that I sort of share with people. You can actually make this leaf, pound it up, and add oil to it, and make it an ointment. And if your knees, it help your sort of knee pains, joint pains. Yeah.
That's what I feel I'm having.
Yeah.
This pain.
Yeah, you can do that later. Like you can also look up online. You don't learn from me, but that's how you do. I can share a bottle later on if you want to try it. Okay. Earlier we talked about seaweed. Okay, I didn't explain too much.
Yeah.
But this is a long weekend. You can go to, I don't know if you can see it, Centennial Beach. Do you know where it is? Centennial Beach?
Delta?
Delta. It's close to the Watson.
Right.
Yeah, that way. Centennial Beach is famous. If you look, this is a satellite picture.
Also, there is a Boundary Bay.
Yeah, Boundary Bay. You know what this is on the beach?
Yeah.
This is very flat.
Kelps,
Similar. You walk like, I don't know, maybe a mile, and you still this deep in water. It's very flat. And these are all sea grass.
Okay.
And then every day it got washed up to the beach, and you can go and pick up the seagrass dry and take it home and use it as fertilizer.
Like
Yeah.
the ones at New BC Beach also.
Similar, but they have so abundant, so much in there. And then I would recommend you to go there in the summer, because this
Bring a
water.
bucket.
No. Go for a picnic. This water is not cold.
Oh.
You guys have not been to Centennial Beach.
No.
You are here so long, you know.
It's a very, very big beach though.
Yeah, very flat, very
We've
big.
heard of it.
It's just
Tribals
opposite
have
is
their
the Robert-
picnic there.
Yeah.
It's the
But we
pot
haven't
The
had
water
it.
is so
Water
warm.
pot, yeah.
So close
Across
to
the
US.
seas, yeah,
Yeah,
it's
it's-
just a bottle.
You don't swim. You swim too far, you'll be in US.
Then you will see the Robert Port, the right walk.
Yeah, I highly recommend you go there. Have a this is the sort of the public park, but you can walk all the way. There's so many spots, like no problem of people, sitting next to you. So many area. Like don't go this long weekend, but go maybe next weekend. You can enjoy the beach. Check your the tide, the high tide, low tide time. Yeah, try to go when there are low tide, and you can walk out so nice.
So they
It is
allow
on
you
the
to-
big bucket.
It's on
No,
the
just a
Vancouver
garbage
area.
bag.
It's in
They
the Canada
allow you to-
area, right?
to
Canada,
take it.
not.
Oh, Canada side, yeah. You don't get a
It's
passport.
Canada.
So they are all
It's
washed up
Hawaii.
dry. So
Yeah.
you nobody will stop you from taking the seagrass.
Garbage bag.
Oh, so they allow.
They are
you-
washed up to the shore, and you just sit there quietly take a bag to your garbage bag.
Okay.
This one bag
So,
is enough. Like you don't have to be big trunk, just one
Probably
one
a lot
shopping
of
bag.
people there to dig clams also. Maybe. Yeah.
That's actually you need a
Big
license.
time.
Don't do any of that. You'll be fine. Don't do it. They actually in the seagrass, if you have a license, like crabbing license, you can go out and catch crabs.
Oh,
They're right there,
Oh.
Ah,
right there, free.
same thing.
So many. You can go out there, but it is you have to go a long way, like maybe to here. Okay, so
You have to
seagrass.
chop it all up, the seagrass.
I
Dry it?
No, you don't have to. Like you just take like for all the compost tea, you just take a bucket, fill like those pink buckets, right? 8 gallons. Fill up with half water and then just dump a bunch of seaweed inside. You can, if you don't do seaweed, you can dump all the leaves of the vegetables or the comfreys or the fish, put it inside, and then close it.
The
Okay.
only problem with fish is
Yeah, too
how-
smell. Yeah, don't do the fish.
No.
Yeah. So one thing that you need to do.
House
And then the
fly.
raccoons will come too.
Yeah, and
How's
the
Oh,
fries.
there's a lid. You have to cover it with
The
the lid.
raccoons.
So I would suggest you buy this fish fertilizer.
All this the fish.
You
Yeah,
just need
and-
a one teaspoon, yeah, to a gallon. So
Or put
very
in the
little.
fish fertilizer.
Yeah. It won't smell too bad, but that's already fermented for you.
Is it
Okay.
put
Do
in
the
the water?
公米仔.
Yeah, just add 1 tablespoon to the bucket. You
Water,
water.
bucket water,
You water,
and then
yeah.
the
Water your
And
plants.
then you do
Right.
hậu thầu
Yeah.
啦.
Attract all the flies.
公米仔
Yeah.
啊，
So we can get it from
Yeah.
From any store.
Home Depot.
Home Depot don't have it, but go,
Canadian
go.
Tire has
Canadian.
it.
Yeah.
Canadian
Yeah,
Tire.
maybe garden work.
Garden
Garden
works, yeah,
works,
maybe.
but
Yeah.
What do you
Right.
what fertilizer you put for the orchids to bloom? I thought if I put fertilizer, I feel my orchids die.
Too rich.
Good point. Excellent point. I'll tell you later on. Okay.
Okay.
I'll tell you. Excellent point. Okay. This is if you want to find out more information. Dr. Ingram is very famous for this. This they call it soil food web.
Yeah.
Okay, that's this, right?
Soil food
That's
web.
soil food. Like all this thing going, like from the
cycle.
microorganism to nematode, to longer like worms and birds. This is the web of food, how they travel. Like everyone eats everyone, right? So that's
my
the
God.
food soil
The
web.
cycle.
It's a cycle. Soil food web. Okay, so if you want to know more, look up Dr. Ingram. Okay, but
She's got interesting causes.
interesting but boring. Too
But
long.
some is
Yeah.
very theoretical.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah. So the main thing is okay. Compost tea, that actually means compost tea. Microbial mineralization. All that. Okay, it will detoxify the soil and water, suppress disease, okay, by inducing competition among disease. Okay, why they are saying this? It's actually a different way of thinking about disease control. Maybe your tomatoes have blights, right? Some black ants. Your cucumbers might have mold on the leaves, like become white. Okay. You can spray them, you can, get something to kill them, but what she is proposing, and what I believe too, is these diseases are already here. They're everywhere. It's just like your COVID or flu. It's everywhere. It depends on your body. Like if your body or the healthy bacteria can control each other, you'll be fine. So don't just spray it and kill everything. You actually produce a balance of bacteria and disease. It will be under control. It will be not as bad. Like if you have a little bit of mold, you can live with it, or just take the plant away. The other plants will be healthy. Okay. So what we proposing is have a healthy environment, balance bacteria, and don't use chemical pesticides, okay, or fungicides.
What do you mean that balance the bacteria?
Well, that's what we are using. All these fermented compost tea,
What is
that's
the
the
bacteria?
healthy bacteria.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, and actually I think we can introduce them to you, okay? That's another word that you should Jadam. Okay, it's actually a Korean word. Means poor man's fertilizer. Like that's what I learned in China. Like I actually lived in northeast China for the last maybe 10 years. And a lot of the time, actually by the end, I was helping the local people to learn farming without using chemical. Okay, nobody believe us, nobody. But when they see our produce, they all say, "Hey, can I have some of your eggplants? Can we have your corn?" Because they know our corn is healthy.
Yes.
Right? When we were planting side by side, I plant my corn, I plant my chive. Me and my wife was weeding like every week.
Yeah.
We are not a full-time farmer, but we doing that, and they were laughing at us. They say, "Oh, don't do that. Let me spray it for you. Then you can sit down." Like that's what they did. Like they spray the field and then they sit down and have a smoke. Like, they don't have to do anything, right? And it's all clean. Like there's no weed inside. But they won't eat their stuff. They sell it. They don't eat themselves. They eat our produce. So we were teaching that in China. Right? We actually I have a professor friend who helped me to understand this. So that's why we use JDAM, chemical over natural, and then you said you fertilize your cactus or orchids.
Orchids.
They all die.
Kind of, yeah.
Right? Because that's called burning.
Too rich.
Yeah, orchids, if you think about their native environment, they live on the tree, right?
Yes.
Yeah, one time I didn't go to Singapore, but I was in Mexico, and I'm seeing these people selling orchids on the side of the road because they just grab it from the tree, the forest, and they sell it to me. I saw like I should have got more of those plants because they are special. They are unknown orchids, right? Just from their forest. But they are stick to the tree.
Wow.
They don't need fertilizer. If they use fertilizer, it's very mild. So when you say you go to the nursery, they say, I want some fertilizer for my orchids. They will say, oh, diluted 10 times.
Yes,
like
at least.
you never use the full strength because orchids they don't need it. But I want to propose to you, you feed them these things. Like these will, number one, will never burn your plants. Never. Like I said, 1 teaspoon to 1 bucket. You put 10 teaspoons into one bucket, still doesn't burn it because it's all natural. It's basically bacteria. Basically bacteria is not a chemical. Why do we use bacteria? Because by bacteria, well, let me go back to the plant first. The plant doesn't really absorb the nutrients from the compost. They don't digest the leaves, right? They don't digest the fish. They use the bacteria to break it down, and then the roots can absorb.
I see.
Right? So the roots don't take up fertilizer per se directly from the soil. They need the bacteria. So if you have a healthy bacteria or things that digested by the bacteria, your plants then can absorb, and it won't burn them. If you put your 30-30-30 Miracle Grow chemical, well, that is right away is direct nutrients for the plants, but they cannot handle it. Why? Why do they burn the plants? I hope you have some biology background. Like let's say, how does a plant or human cell absorb water? It's through osmosis, right? If the outside is too salty, then the water from the cell will actually go out.
Okay.
Right, that's how you marinate your sticks, right? Because you soil salt on the stick, the water will draw it out, right? So your stick will become watery, right? There's pour water on the bowl, but that's why your plant die, because they are drawing the water away from the roots by osmosis. So when you fertilize, you have to use a fertilizer that is lower in the saltiness than the cell. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. So especially orchids, they don't need the amount of fertilizer. They just need a little bit, a hint, because all they get is from the side of the tree, when it rains, the sort of the particle from the tree trunk wash down to them, and they get nutrients that way. And they take the water from the air, right? They have air roots, right? So they don't really need that much. So the idea is to feed the soil. You don't feed the plant. You feed the soil with bacteria, with compost, and then the bacteria will then digest the particles to a form that the plants can take up.
Okay, so Yan, what's in your,
Say again?
what's in the cup? that
This
you
is
have?
compost tea.
Or the compost.
Yeah, the vegetable.
So either one of the compost
Yeah,
tea. that
the
you
other one
mentioned
is fine.
will be okay.
Yeah. Like,
What
yeah,
kind of,
either one. Yes.
what kind of fish fertilizer do you recommend?
Ah, good question.
What kind of water?
Fish fertilizer.
Fertilizer.
Okay, what I tell you what I learned from China. Okay. Okay. I actually in China I was shocked by one of the natural farmer. He has used this. This is brown sugar.
Brown sugar.
Yeah, he has a bowl of container of brown sugar, and then he put a whole fish, a mackerel. Like these are Korean people. They like mackerel. They put the whole mackerel fish in the bucket, and they cover it up for like a year.
Wow.
And then the mackerel will totally dissolve,
Disintegrate, yeah.
and leaving only the bones
Wow.
and a puddle of molasses. Like the sugar and the fish all kind of melt together and then become molasses, like sticky stuff. And he said, "Come, take your finger, taste it." I said, "Oh!" 1 year, the fish and the sugar,
1 year.
but it's actually healthy. You can drink it.
Yeah.
I did.
But it's
I-
raw fish, right?
It's all fermented.
It's all
Yeah.
fermented.
It's
so
all
it's
fermented.
so
It's
the
not
sugar
no
is
longer a
all-
fish. It becomes a molasses, like complex
Molasses,
sugar.
Yeah.
And that's how you. And it doesn't smell, no fish smell
No
at
smell.
all. It's actually still tastes sweet, but that's very very potent
Interesting.
nutrient. And I still am here today. So fermented plant juice. I will send you these.
Oh, yes, yes.
But I don't have your email. Can you write down your email
Oh yeah.
and your phone number?
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
So what you do, like
Interesting.
to ferment the vegetable, fish, whatever, you put wheat and brown sugar. It's a little wasteful because brown sugar is expensive,
Yeah.
but within 5 days you start seeing that they become sort of soften up, they become liquid, and you strain out the
The juice.
the juice, and you still add a little bit more sugar to make it almost like molasses, and then you can store it and use it, over time, because sugar doesn't, when they are concentrate, they don't go bad. It's like honey, so you can use that like 1 teaspoon to a
It has to be
gallon.
brown sugar.
Brown sugar, yes. Like white sugar is too
Cane
Fine.
sugar.
refined.
Cane
Cane sugar,
is-
okay. Yeah, brown sugar is basically cane sugar.
Cane
Yeah.
sugar.
So you can use just water,
We buy from
but you
the
can use
Indian
brown
store, it's
sugar as
cheaper.
well. Okay, just go online or practice. I don't have
Then the molasses, then you just
1 teaspoon.
dilute
Yeah,
and put
dilute.
in
Yeah,
the-
and then
put
1
in the
bucket.
1 gallon of
Yeah.
water.
Mhm.
Wow. Or 1
Yeah,
gallon
right,
of
thank you.
What about figs? I trim the figs leaves. Can that be a
Yeah,
fertilizer?
yeah.
Yeah,
Dry them.
Yeah.
I dry them to make fig tea,
Okay,
Oh really?
Sorry.
to eat it.
okay.
Fig tea. Fig.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
This
drink
is
it
my
tea.
seaweed.
Oh.
My attempt.
Well, I need to. How do you make your own seaweed?
Yeah.
The tea.
So you don't need to put the water, just the wheat
The
and
sugar.
brown
I-
sugar. That's
Yeah,
it.
yeah. You can
Oh,
put
so
brown
you-
sugar. This is water,
I
but
need-
you
I
can
need
use
to
brown
make
sugar.
seaweed.
Yeah, you can pick up
I need
seaweed.
iodine.
Or buy the stock from the seaweed from the store. It's okay, you know.
Yeah,
Things like
Those
that.
are
Seaweed.
salted
We
seaweed.
can add
No,
some
you're
water
talking
to
about
it.
the
Yeah, and
kombu.
water.
Oh.
Yeah.
They
You're
have
talking about the
Add some
kombu,
water.
Huh?
is it?
What is the other one?
The other one I'll explain now.
Oh,
Okay.
seaweed.
So this one is called lab.
Lactic.
Lactic acid bacteria. Lab. Okay. So this is you wash your rice, excuse me, every day.
Yes.
You put some of the rice water, maybe half full. Let it sit in a dark area with the lid loosen up. Let it breathe for 2 days, and it will start to
Ferment.
have bubbles.
Yeah,
It will ferment, and then after it bubbles, you fill it up with whole milk.
Whole milk.
Yeah, whole milk. Okay, so another
Like kefir.
3 days, you will have that something like this with the milk separated.
Oh.
Okay.
Kefir.
Kefir.
Yeah, it's called farmer's cheese. This is actually very
Farmer's cheese.
tasty, almost like
Kefir.
yeah, very tasty. Yeah, very tasty. You can
Wow.
smell it. No problem.
Fermented. Yeah, fermented.
So again, you after you strain this out, also like 1
fermented.
ounce, like 1 teaspoon per gallon. Use it, but this one you cannot keep. You have to use it within 5 days, because this is active bacteria.
It's only the white one?
The white you actually eat. You can eat it,
Okay.
or you can feed it to your chicken, whatever.
It's your colony.
So
Yeah.
what I'm asking is 1 ounce of the white stuff or do you include the
No,
water?
the water.
The water, okay.
Yeah, the white stuff, you actually put it, strain it through a cheesecloth, and then you squeeze out the water,
your
and then it becomes almost like cheese, and you can
It's
eat
like
it.
a curd.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. It's
So
not
this-
kefir, this is not
from-
sour.
This is from rice water, right? You said?
Rice water, to
Yeah.
begin with, like half
Yeah.
glass rice water, let it ferment for 2
2
days,
days.
you will see
And
bubbles,
whole milk.
and then you fill it up with
If
whole
no
milk.
bubbles, you don't do it.
Yeah, right. You have to judge the smell. Like if the rice water becomes like
Soury.
sour or bad smell, then it's not good.
Oh.
Dump it out. Like you might have other bacteria who went inside, but it should, like, without fail, you will have
So,
bubbles.
so if it smells, it's the anaerobic bacteria
That's right, yeah, it's
fermented.
back-
If it's aerobic, it's very fragrant.
Very yeah, almost like yeast,
Yeast,
and
yes.
you'll be fine. And then you strain this out and use this. They call it actually labs, almost like S means serum.
Serum.
Okay, lactic acid bacteria serum, and use 1 teaspoon per gallon to water your plants. This will help the bacterial life
Wow.
in the garden.
Oh.
Okay, so we are talking about bacteria,
Yes.
fungus, all these healthy
Oh my
stuff,
God, yeah.
and you don't need fertilizer.
Oh.
Okay, so that's that, and then the last,
So,
yes.
you kept it right now.
Oh,
because
I
of
just kept it now, but you don't have to be
don't
tight.
like-
Like
You
the
don't
best
just
way,
keep paper towel.
yeah,
and
paper
then-
towel or piece of cloth, you know. Yeah, just let it breathe. Like I don't meant to tighten it, but
Yeah.
because I don't want to spill.
Yes, yes.
Yes. Okay.
And the seaweed?
The seaweed.
Seaweed,
what
just you just use it for water,
You
but
just
the
soak
seaweed
in
you
the
need.
water.
Did you take? Is this
The
a
dried one.
centennial?
No, this is
picture
from my
or
home. You're supposed to eat this seaweed, but you same thing. Like I'm just demonstrating that you will ferment this, leave it inside for like a month.
Uh-huh.
This will become a little bit smelly. Okay, so you put it outside. Don't put it inside your house. But this one you can put inside your house.
So I can use dried seaweed and
Yes,
water
yes,
and that's it?
yes. Now, if you take the seagrass from Centennial Beach,
Yes.
some people will say, "Oh, you have to wash off the salt first." Obviously, because it got washed up, there's salt in the leaves of the the seagrass. But I want to propose to you, keep it, because the salt is also a nutrient. Different chemicals, right? People actually, when they make natural fertilizer, they put maybe a gallon of seawater to mix it up, because they have different nutrients, like what you call elements that you don't really have in the soil. So it is healthy for you. People add Epsom salt, similar to that. Okay, any more questions?
So all this that you've made, it's edible.
Oh,
to
yeah.
Human.
Oh yeah.
But also good for the plant.
Oh, yeah.
What is good for you is good for
Oh,
the
yeah. Oh,
plant,
yeah.
and you only use 1 ounce per gallon in.
You can start with 1 ounce. As I said, it won't burn your plant at all. So you can add more. Like, let's say you have a plant. Let's talk about outside first. Like your raised bed is very poor soil, like all dried up, all weeds.
Right.
You can use more frequent, like maybe once a week. Like usually it's once a month, but you can do it once a week, maybe 2 ounces or 2 teaspoon make it build up it quicker, and then you also add the bark mulch, all your other compost, in it to help the bacteria to grow. Like, because if you just add the labs, but no food for the plants, no food for the bacteria, it still doesn't work. You have to add your organic matter in the soil with the labs, and then they can build up the healthy soil.
See, I got a backyard, this tall pine tree, which is our neighbor, and they
all the pine needles.
Oh, those are poisonous.
Yeah,
Not
pine needles.
It's all dried already, all fall out.
Yeah.
And it won't, I can't plant anything there.
I know, right? I know that's
That's
tough.
no good, eh?
No, well, you have to mix up with other things because there's just one type of pine needles. You're not growing pine tree. You're growing vegetable, so it doesn't work for you, right? So you have to mix up other compost to it. Maybe that like chicken manure, get some from us. Maybe that will help.
Or we can come and buy chicken manure.
You don't have to buy. Just take a
bucket and fill it up.
It's free for you. Like the lesson is free and then the manure is free. Okay. The last one. This one is very interesting. We have a science project for you. Okay, so what do you use with your eggshell?
I crush
Okay.
it.
Yeah, I blend it up into powder and then
Uh-huh.
fertilize. That's
Okay.
what I learned from my friend.
Okay, that works, but it will take 15 years,
Huh?
20 years to dissolve the eggshell.
Really?
Yeah, these are inert. The bacteria will take a long time.
Oh.
Like you can do it in the powder, but it's still there. You won't see it, but it's still there. Like if you put a piece of eggshell in your orchids or your
Stay there.
cactus, it will stay there for a long time.
Okay.
It won't get digested.
Oh.
Okay,
What
so
needs
what
to
I
be
propose
done?
to you
I
is
haven't
a
done
science
much.
project.
Science project. Good.
Okay, I have here my favorite material, apple cider vinegar.
Ah. Did you make that yourself?
Yes.
Okay, dear.
How do you make it?
I don't know.
Apple from it.
Yeah, you can make it from apple, but these ones are made from blueberries.
Ah.
We
So
have
it's blueberry cider vinegar.
we have so many blueberry juice on the back. You can have some if you want.
Blueberry. We pick those blueberries.
Yeah, we have a farm. There's a big container of blueberry juice that was left there unused.
Oh, okay.
Now I don't want to record this, but our owner, he harvests the blueberries to make blueberry wines. But I think 1 year he didn't finish, so he just left a whole big container of juice there, and it's been sitting there for I don't know how many years, and it became
Wow.
Oh,
blueberry vinegar.
Oh, really good.
I actually drink this myself.
Cool.
Vinegar doesn't go bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, vinegar.
Even vinegar doesn't go
Yeah,
bad.
that's right. With the tablespoon a day or something like that, eh?
You want? Okay, just be careful. You can smell it. Just be careful.
Yeah,
It's exactly like the apple
Very
cider
good.
vinegar.
Yeah, very
Very
good.
sweet.
very sweet, fragrant. Yeah.
I drink this after dinner.
but
Just be
teas-
careful. I don't want to make
A teaspoon or
a teaspoon after your
Oh,
meal.
it smells exactly like mine.
Yeah, it's actually
very
better
nice.
smelling than apple cider vinegar.
Yes.
Apple cider vinegar has a smell that almost like you vomit.
Pungent.
Yeah, it's more
This
like
one is
Mine
from
doesn't
the
smell
sweet
bad.
base.
it's almost
I
like a
use-
wine.
I use this as my communion.
Oh, will
Yeah.
I get drunk by taking this one? It's like wine.
So the experiment is
You put this there.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. I need to take some back
Wow.
and let it sit for.
I would say I can put the rest in.
Do we crush it? Do we crush the?
No, you don't have to.
No,
You don't have to.
Oh, okay.
You will break it down.
Yes, acid and
Acid
calcium.
and calcium. Yeah.
It dissolves the calcium.
Start reacting.
Look at that! Look at that!
Oh my
It's bubbling.
gosh.
Look at that!
Yes, yes.
Reacting.
It's almost like
Wow.
Reacting.
you're working instantly. Look at that! Look at that!
And you can drink this also. It'll be very good for you.
Exactly.
Because
If all
you
these
can
things
get
are
your
edible.
I need my
Calcium.
iodine.
I don't recommend it because
You can buy-
I'm not responsible.
Yes, I know. Well, I
Look
got
at that.
thyroid, so I need to take
It's
more
reactive
iodine.
right
How do I
away.
make my own iodine?
Yeah,
With
yeah.
the thyroid, hypothyroid, I need
Yeah.
iodine. I
Maybe
need.
it's good for you.
This is it. I know. I realize.
So
you can buy the
So,
iodine
within
tablet. I bought it.
a week,
Wow, look at that.
this reaction will stop.
Oh.
Then everything's gone.
Yeah, and then what do you think the liquid tastes like? Is it acidic or is it neutral?
I think more neutral.
Yeah,
Because
it
of
becomes
the eggs.
neutral. Because if it's still vinegary, it will react to the eggshell.
Until it's
Because
soft.
I still have eggshell left. Because it cannot digest, like neutralize all the eggshells. But the reaction will cause the vinegar to become tasteless.
Yeah. Wow.
And that's because they exchange the chemistry. All these coming out are carbon dioxide, right? And then the calcium is released in this liquid.
I see.
And this is your liquid calcium for your tomatoes.
Supplement.
Like people say
Tomatoes.
tomatoes have these rotten, bottom rot ends. Like the ends of the tomato become black. It's because they lack calcium.
Oh.
Don't put your eggshell anymore.
Yeah.
Put this.
I know I got a whole bunch.
Some
I
of them
haven't-
they grow the tomato plants before they do it. They
Yeah.
put an egg
Yeah,
at
I
the
know.
bottom, right?
I know, but
Yeah.
Still doesn't work.
I don't want to argue with you, but I
No.
just tell you,
I agree.
eggshell don't digest
Doesn't.
in water. It doesn't get digested by bacteria
I see.
that soon, right? It takes time.
15 years too long.
Too
But
long.
if you have healthy microbes inside them.
Yeah, even though you powder it up, it just means you cannot see it,
Yeah.
but it doesn't mean it's available. This liquid will be available for your
Wow.
plant. Okay, so again, 1 teaspoon per gallon or more. It doesn't.
What is the ACV stand?
Apple cider vinegar.
Oh.
That's my favorite drink. So remember ACV, okay?
Do you drink them every day?
Yes. Yes.
Wow. It keeps
I-
you
Still in
fit.
the middle.
And
I'm
you lean.
okay. I'm okay. I'm diabetic, so apple cider vinegar
It's still
I'm not giving you medical advice, but I'm
Yeah.
saying I
It's good.
believe it will help me
Yes.
slow down my digestion
Yeah.
of the absorption of sugar. It will slow down. So then my blood sugar will be lower.
Done. Yeah.
Right? And it's healthy for you.
Yes.
It cleanses your diet, your
Yes.
gut.
Is it for the apple cider vinegar?
Yes, you
Yeah.
should.
Lower down the sugar level?
Yes, yes. I recommend you take the pills or the gel. It's easier to take.
Go lean.
Like to drink this is
Yeah.
doesn't taste well, right? It's very vinegar.
You can get used to it actually.
I
use
guess
the
you can.
opposite.
Yeah, you water
Yeah,
it
it's
down. Like you
actually
1
very
teaspoon
nice.
in the water. You mix it up. You dilute it to drink.
Yeah, but when you drink it, you have to use a straw. Otherwise, your teeth will all.
Yeah, it will hurt your enamel.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so the
So you
pill
have to
is
suck
the
it.
best solution. Okay.
What about people so garlic with vinegar and sugar? That garlic becomes crunchy.
Yeah.
As a relative to top, it's good for what is it good for? It's good for high blood pressure too,
Yeah.
isn't it?
Yeah. There's many ways of improving your health. Yeah, I'm just teaching you how to gardening. I'm not
Awesome.
talking about medical advice.
Well, it comes to
But
hand in hand.
it's very interesting
It is
though.
hand in hand.
Look at that! Look at that! It's
Look at
so
it from it
much.
so fast.
Yeah, so much.
Will it overflow?
Yeah, can I have some back home for the tomato?
Yeah,
Well, it takes a week.
you
Takes a,
forgot to
Okay,
video
1
it.
week. Okay, that's
Huh?
fine.
It's not
Okay, just
included
wait
in
for
the
1 week.
video.
then.
We can't see the reaction.
You
oh,
say
the
you
reaction
can-
like this. Like,
Yeah.
Ian said you can go and get some.
Yeah.
Because
But we have to get the bottle.
tomato I grow.
I got a bucket,
planted,
cannot, right? I need the bottle.
2 or 3 days ago, the leaves are
Okay,
black.
so-
So,
so-
I
Yeah,
believe
just
the
use
lack
the
of
Ziploc.
calcium.
Yeah.
No bottle,
So I
but
need
got a
that.
bucket.
so this
I
is
need
it
a
today. Any questions?
That's excellent, very interesting.
Excellent, very interesting.
Yeah.
Can I
Yeah, that is
have the slides, please, to last
I will
week
send.
and this
I will
week?
send. Oh, you don't. I sent it
I
out.
got it.
Okay.
I sent it out.
Oh,
Okay.
you didn't
Maybe
get it
in the
last week?
spam.
Okay.
So-
it could have gone into this week.
Yeah.
I got one.
Yeah, I know.
Give your email to Ian again.
Yeah.
I have an
That's
email.
excellent.
I have
Your
your email.
email?
She told me I
Alright,
forwarded
I
it.
What do you think, Ernest?
She has been receiving for the past month.
Do you
No,
have
no,
to
no,
use
I don't
apple cider vinegar?
Any
or
kind of
just
vinegar.
vinegar will
Any
do.
vinegar. Now, I would propose to use apple
Because the
cider
fixed
because
section.
this is natural.
Natural, yeah.
You buy the regular vinegar is
Chemical.
is
No, it's
chemical. It's something
cider.
acetate.
Yeah.
They say
Acetate,
acetate.
5%
Yeah, so
acetate.
it's man-made.
Or you have fermented,
Get the organic apple cider.
fermented wine that you don't drink.
Exactly.
Costco
You're good.
wine.
He's good. Like
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
this is actually a process. Juice become wine.
Yeah.
Wine over time become vinegar.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
all the same process. So if you have some wine that you have left too long fermenting, it become vinegar. And after they become vinegar, they become sort of stable. They won't go anymore, and it won't go bad. So if you have a bottle,
Yeah.
you can go get some.
I can use
Yeah,
a
I
Ziploc.
know.
I don't have a bottle. I've got Ziploc. For my Ziploc.
Well, you know me, I
Thank you.
am very proponents of recycling and reuse.
Thank you.
Oh, she too collect a lot of bottles.
Yes,
Yeah.
I'm getting collecting.
Do you
bottles.
want one?
Yeah, I need that. Yeah, cause for my
Can I
potato.
have a
Yeah, take
Yeah.
one.
This one.
Yeah.
I'll take it at the back.
Yeah, return to me next
Go
time
around
because
the
that's a
bottle.
canning
Yeah.
bottle.
Yeah, this is a canning one. I've got
Canning
a lot of
bottle,
canning
yeah.
jars.
To wait for 1 week.
Yeah,
One-
yeah,
One
next
week,
week.
got it?
Yeah, that's fine.
No,
So
you
wait
must
for 1 week
ferment it
and
for
follow
1
this
week.
one, or
No,
ready
you
to
go
use?
home with collect your
Eggs.
eggshell,
Yeah.
Put inside.
sort of just
Crush it,
crumble it up.
Yeah, yeah.
You don't have to
I got a
crumble.
lot of,
Just
I got a lot of
yeah.
eggs shell.
Use a bottle like
Yeah,
this.
Yeah.
And then put the
Not
everything.
metal.
I got a
Like that's
big
why
one.
I have the saran wrap because the lid is
Yeah.
metal.
It will,
It will
Rust
corrode.
it.
corrode
Yeah,
it,
so use a plastic bottle or plastic jug
Okay.
and put that bottle in it. That's all. Like you don't need a big bottle.
Glass.
This is enough for you.
Or you mean it's
Plastic,
not
but you
use
put
the
a plastic
glasses?
over it,
You have to
because
use
the-
Don't
the
use
plastic.
the metal cap.
Yeah, I
Oh, okay.
Ah.
This
But
one
for
should
now,
be the plastic.
Yeah, you can take it home with that.
Yeah.
But once you get home, you change it to a plastic
Yeah.
bottle.
Plastic lid,
If
right?
Lid,
you
yeah.
use this, you just have to saran wrap
Yeah.
it before
Yeah,
you
yeah,
put
yeah.
that.
Saran wrap it, that's okay.
Saran wrap,
So
okay.
stay for 1 week and then ready to use, right?
No, it's used right away.
Use it right away.
Yeah, use it. Like that's vinegar, not this one. I'm not
giving.
giving you this one. I'm giving you vinegar. The
And then
blueberry
soak
cider
And
vinegar.
then soak with the eggs.
And then you go
Eggshell.
home, pour it in your eggshell. That's it. Doesn't matter, like maybe even 5 eggshell is enough because
You can use it
look at
right
that.
away.
It's not
Eggshell.
dissolving. It's not dissolving.
Eggshell. But stay how long with the vinegar?
1
1
week.
week, right? Yeah. that's
1
why
week,
I asked.
or until it doesn't have any reaction.
Mhm. Oh, I see.
Then it's
No more
stable.
bubble.
And then you can store it anytime you want. Like just use 1 teaspoon per gallon.
That's
Dilute
right.
it.
But Yin, you were saying that all this lasts for only about 5
This
days.
one,
Or the-
5
only
days.
the- only
This
5
one
days.
is active. This one is alive.
Okay,
These
yeast.
ones are not. There's no bacteria inside, right? This one have some bacteria, but this one smells. So don't put it in your house. Okay.
So that one, you said lasts for 5 days, but if I remove the curd,
Still not 5 days. You can put it in the fridge, but still use it up. Like this doesn't hurt. Like if you have it, pour it, water everything in your house. You use it up no time, right?
Also mix
Water.
1 tablespoon to
1 tablespoon
it's
doesn't matter. You
Yeah,
dump the
doesn't
whole
go-
thing in the grass. It doesn't hurt.
Oh, I see.
But
Okay.
it might be overkill. Like
Yeah,
it doesn't use up
Right.
all the energy.
Right.
This is very potent. Lots of bacteria inside. Okay, shall we go to the field?
Yes, please. Do you have another glass bottle?
Another container?
Yes.